Take a look at these images and videos. I created all of them with a single AI tool. It's called Weavy AI, a workflow-based multimodal platform that brings image models, video models, text tools, and editors together in one place. In this tutorial, I'll walk you through how it works, how to turn images into videos, and how to build your own custom workflows. The discount link to Weavy AI is in the description, so let's get started. This is the dashboard. At the top, you'll see the workflow library, which contains all the available tools, image models, video models, editing options, and more. Now let's create a new workflow and start with the basics, generating an image and turning it into a video. This is your workflow sheet. You can rename it by clicking the title in the top left corner. Then, click the search icon on the left panel, look for the prompt option, and drag it onto the sheet. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see a list of image models. Choose any model you want. I initially selected the Higgs field image. Connect the prompt node to the prompt input on the image model, paste your prompt in the right panel, and click Run Model. You'll also see settings for resolution and style, which you can adjust if needed. If you find the workflow navigation a bit tricky, you can switch your cursor type at the bottom. I personally prefer the hand tool for easier movement. In my case, the Higgs field model wasn't responding and kept showing errors, so I switched to GPT Image 1 instead. I ran it again, and this time the generation succeeded. Here's the output. It followed the prompt well. The atmosphere looks solid, and the overall image quality is impressive. Now let's turn this image into a video. Drag another prompt box into the workflow. Enter your video prompt. I used girl writing down on the paper, and then select a video model from the list. Connect the prompt node to the prompt input and link your generated image to the first frame. You can also add a last frame or a negative prompt if you want more control. Run the model. The first model I tried didn't work, so I switched to Higgs field video, reconnected the nodes, and ran the workflow again. If you ever connect something incorrectly, just click the line to remove it and reconnect. It resets instantly. And here's the video result. It looks natural, fluid, and matches the prompt very well. Now that you understand the basics of generating images and videos in Weavy AI and how the node connections work, let's look at some practical use cases. The first one is face swapping, which Weavy AI can handle with a high level of control and accuracy. Start by renaming your workflow, then drag a prompt box onto the sheet. Add an image model such as GPT Image or Mystic. Connect the prompt node, enter your description, and run the model. This will generate your first base image. For my example, I created a portrait of a female model. Next, we need the second image whose face will replace the first one. Repeat the same process. Choose your model, connect the nodes, paste your prompt, adjust the image strength or aspect ratio if needed, and run the model. Once this second image is generated, we're ready to move into the editing workflow. Open the editing section and drag in the Painter tool. Connect the result from your first image to the painter and carefully mask the face, hair, and any areas you want replaced. After that, bring in the Ideogram V 3-character model from the Image Models section. Add another prompt box and write a clear instruction. Replace the face and hair of the character in Image 1 only. Keep everything else exactly the same and match the proportions of the reference image. Connect the prompt to the Ideogram model, connect the masked output from the painter to the mask input, and attach your second generated image as the character reference. Once everything is connected properly, run the model. The final result will show the clothing, pose, and background from the original image completely preserved, with only the face and hair replaced by the second model's features. This is how you perform a clean and natural-looking face swap using Weavy AI. The next use case I want to show you is the Image and Video Describer. This feature is extremely powerful because it allows you to take any image or video, drop it into Weavy AI, and instantly generate a detailed written description. You can then use that description to recreate similar visuals, produce variations, or continue a design concept with consistency. Let's walk through the process. I started by creating a new workflow file, renaming it, and bringing in a prompt box. For the image model, I selected Ideogram V3 and set the aspect ratio to 16:9. After connecting the nodes and pasting my prompt, I ran the model to generate the first image. Once the image appeared, I went to the Text Tools section and added the image describer. I connected the result of the ideogram model to the describer and ran it. The output was a very detailed description of the image, which is exactly what we need for the next step. Now, using that description, I brought in another image model and connected the describer's text output to its prompt input. I also connected the first image as a style reference to help keep the look consistent. After running the model, the new image appeared. It was very similar to the original, nearly identical in composition and style, with only small changes like the color of the boy's shirt. One limitation I noticed here is that the model didn't allow me to adjust the aspect ratio for the second image. Next, I tested the same workflow with video. To create a video from the image, I added the Seedance V 1.0 model, connected the first image as the starting frame, and wrote a simple prompt like "boy riding a bicycle." After running it, the video was generated successfully. Then I brought in the video describer and connected the resulting video to it. Running the model gave me a complete text description of the video. To check how accurate that description was, I added another Seedance V 1.0 model and connected the describer's text output to the prompt input. After generating, the new video turned out similar to the original, though not as closely matched as the image comparison. Still, the description was very usable and offered enough detail to reproduce or modify the scene effectively. Alright, the next feature I tested was 3D image generation. This is especially useful if you're working with products and need images from different angles, like showing a headphone from the left, right, back, or top. I wanted to see how well Weavy AI could handle this. I started by creating a new workflow, renaming it, and adding a prompt box. Using the Higgsfield image model, I generated my base headphone image. Since I needed multiple angles, I added several more prompt boxes and image models to the workflow, planning to reuse the original image as a reference for each new angle. First, I tested the left side view. I connected the prompt, attached the original headphone as a reference, and ran the model. But instead of giving me a left side angle, it produced another front-facing image, which wasn't the goal. Next, I tried a right side view. Same setup. Connected everything correctly, ran the model again, still no change. It continued generating the same general perspective and even altered the overall design of the headphone. To rule out prompt complexity, I simplified the instructions and tried again. No improvement. I then attempted a back view, but the result still didn't reflect the requested angle. At this point, I suspected the issue might be with the model, so I replaced Higgsfield with Ideogram V3, kept the reference image connected, and ran the test again. This time, it finally worked. It generated a clear backside view of the headphone that matched the original product's design. However, when I tried a top view using the same model, it reverted to generating a front-facing perspective again. So overall, the 3D image feature didn't perform consistently. It struggled to follow specific angle prompts and often ignored the reference image. While it produced one correct variation, the rest didn't match the intended viewpoints. Now let's test another important use case: character consistency across different scenes. I started by creating a new workflow and added a prompt box. For the first image, I used the Ideogram V3 character model and entered a simple prompt describing a portrait of a young woman. After connecting everything and running the model, the result looked great. Clean details, natural lighting, and overall strong image quality. Next, I added another prompt box to generate a second image of the same character in a different situation. This time, my prompt described her sitting by a window and sketching in a notebook. I connected the prompt, used the first image as a reference, and ran the model. The output kept some consistency, the girl looked similar, but the background was completely different. Her eye color had changed, and she wasn't actually sitting by a window or sketching. The prompt wasn't followed accurately. I regenerated the scene to see if it would perform better. The second attempt got a bit closer. She was holding a sketchbook and pen, but still wasn't near a window, and some of her facial features looked different from the reference image. To test consistency further, I created another prompt describing the same woman working on a laptop at a desk. I connected it to the ideogram V3 model again and used the original portrait as the style reference. The result kept the general look of the character, similar to the previous images. But once again, the prompt wasn't fully followed. The desk wasn't properly shown and the laptop wasn't clearly visible. But the model does a decent job at keeping the character's appearance somewhat consistent, but it struggles with scene accuracy. Specific elements like the environment, props, and actions, such as sitting by a window or working at a desk, are not reliably reflected in the output. Overall, I think the tool performed really well. It handled both image and video generation impressively, and the workflow system is one of its biggest strengths. The face swap feature worked nicely, and the image describers were accurate and helpful. The only areas that need improvement are character consistency and 3D angle generation, but I'm confident those results can improve with different prompts and model combinations.
Now let's quickly talk about pricing. The free plan gives you 150 credits every month, which is enough for about 375 images or roughly 25 seconds of video. You also get full model access and commercial use, so it's actually pretty solid for getting started. The starter plan is $24 a month and gives you 1,500 credits plus unlimited workflows.
So try out Weavy AI using the discount link in the description and let me know your feedback in the comments below. And for another useful AI tutorial, check out this video next.